All right. Good morning, folks. It's good to see everybody. Hey, folks. Today's episode's all about the top 5 reasons why businesses today are choosing to actually install electric car charging. And so, some pretty good reasons. These are the top 5. My firm and I, we've come up with about 20 to 21 reasons. So, I'm not going to share. I'm just going to share our top 5 with you. So, appreciate you pulling over and parking with us today. We are brought to you by Smart Charge America. I am Joseph Barletta, and this is the Charge Life podcast where we discuss EVs and all things charging. So glad you could pull over and park with us today. Let's get plugged in. And like I said before, before we begin, today's episode is brought to you by Smart Charge America. And so since 2007, these guys have been installing electric car charging stations all over the nation, tens of thousands of charging stations, and they can do the same for you today. So let their team of expert installation specialists, guide you to the very best solution for your electric car and all your charging needs. After all, if you can't charge, you can't drive. So visit us again at smartchargeamerica.com today to begin. So again, today's episode's the top 5 reasons why businesses are installing EV chargers. And so some pretty exciting things. One of the things that I guess the first thing that we'll talk about is what's the main reason? Of course, like on top of everyone's like, list is revenue. I want to generate more money as a business. I want to be able to do that. And basically providing EV charging as a business allows that business to actually create another revenue stream, believe it or not. It allows them to make more money than they otherwise wouldn't have. I mean, you're looking at monetizing parking spaces. Think about that. We don't really think about that as business owners when it comes to our employees or our customers, so forth and so on. Like monetizing the actual parking spaces, unless you're in like downtown condo high rise and stuff like that, and you live downtown where people actually. But most of the time, the charging facilities or the parking facilities are different beast than the actual company that's providing the services in those buildings. But overall, it does allow businesses to capture another, kind of a occurring accounts receivable, ARR. That's a really big thing, and which allows you to be looked at by your constituents as maybe even more of a valued business. So that's number one. Revenue stream. I want to make more money, bro. Like that's it. I want to make more money. So it's really good for businesses. The second reason is it's like a 2-part reason. It's to both attract and retain customers and employees. If you look at a business, like those are the 2 very, very labor, I guess those your 2 hallmarks basically are your customers and your employees. And if you can do both attract and retain both of those categories, that's huge for a business owner. I mean, that is like, sometimes I've seen business owners just install electric car charging for that reason alone. Like they don't even really worry about the revenue stream. So their business is already taken care on that end. And so that is a really, really good and one of the more popular ones. But I chose to go, to put that at number 2 just because most businesses exist to make money. So that's number 2, attract and retain customers and employees. Think of it as like sort of a benefit for an employee, but it's also like an amenity for customers. And it's definitely that attraction that keeps, I know that I frequent businesses that tend to have electric vehicle charging at their facilities, as opposed to, if I'm choosing, where do we want to go out to eat? If I know that a restaurant's got electric car charging, I'm definitely going there because I can get while I dine and so forth and so on. So some complementary stuff there. Number 3 is a competitive advantage. If you look at, kind of how your business stands out upon, every other business that's doing the same exact thing that you're doing within a certain, radius or vicinity, you will have a competitive advantage to be able to install these charging stations, but not only for the 1 and 2, but yes, for the 3. You stand out amongst your competitors. And so it does increase property value because it makes your entire kind of estate, your portfolio, a little bit more valuable. And it is, a competitive differentiator if you really look at it that way. Number 4, sustainability initiative. What kind of climate change, doesn't even have to be climate, just impact, sustainability impact that you're looking to do. I mean, it does follow. It's like one of the fastest ways that you can achieve your sustainability initiatives as a company. And this is huge. What we try not to do, we try to angle businesses to where, like, don't look at this as some sort of greenwashing or some sort of PR front, but definitely exploit it and talk about it and get that message out there very clear that, hey, this is a part of something that we believe in, we want to support, so forth and so on. So that is number 4. And the fifth and last one is, believe it or not, it's a form of free advertising. And a lot of people kind of look this over when they're kind of conceptualizing and trying to think about the pros and cons of whether or not as a business I should be installing electric car charging. Think about this: free ads advertising. If you look at the competitive landscape, I'm driving down the road this morning, okay, and I'm seeing billboards of businesses and lawyers and all these other things, and then you see all the trucks, the service vehicle trucks on the interstate and on the highways, and you see they're all wrapped. They're trying to advertise to get your attention. They're trying to get your eyeballs where it's at. With electric car charging, everyone's eyeballs are literally on their phones these days. And so as a result, when you've established that network, depending on what type of network you're going with or what type of OEM, charging station, provider you're going with, you're actually attached to their network. And so with that network, you're also attached to like a bunch of other charging stations, around you. And so as a result, if someone's in that vicinity and they're looking at that map because they want to see where the chargers are located, and you pop up, bam, you didn't have to do any advertising for that. Advertising is in the app. It's where people's eyeballs already are. And so that is a form of free advertising that really not that many people get a chance to really talk about these days. And so that is one of the larger competitive advantages to that end. So I guess when it comes down to it, we've seen this a very interesting thing that's happened with businesses over the past, we've been doing it since 2007. We really started getting into more of commercial back in 2011, 2013. So over the past decade, we've really seen businesses, rather than focus on the cost too much, sorry, can't do it, they tend to put the cost of installing EVs, although it's important and it's definitely important that you budget, so forth and so on, but that's not, they've kind of knocked that down on the totem pole with regards to this is the reason. Now, we talked about last week about 20, I think it was 10 reasons why you'll get your tail handed to you if you're an electric car charging provider. Now, those are the big providers. Those are the Electrify Americas, the EVgo's, the Teslas. These are the battles that these guys are up against every single day, day in and day out. And so I definitely wanted to make sure that, I'm not kind of spoiling the party or telling you that electric car charging for your business is not a profitable thing. It absolutely 100% is. But when you're looking to scale at the level that these guys are doing it at, those are the kind of things that they're constantly at battle with. So we talked about is one being revenue stream. I want to make money, right? It's an additional chance to develop a form of recurring revenue for the business. 2, attract and retain not only customers, but employees as a benefit. Think about that. It's the quickest way to be able to do that. 3, competitive advantage amongst your competition in the local market. And then it's also, one of the fastest things you can do to achieve your sustainability initiatives as a company, to be able to have the most impact for what it is that you stand for, where you're going, where you're wanting to take the business. It's highly sought after for that. And then, of course, the 5th reason is being all things free advertising. So pretty cool stuff. Definitely just wanted to share that with you. One of the things that we did get was we got a question from one of our audience members, Teresa Porter out of Waco, Texas. It was kind of funny. It definitely was analogous to this conversation that we're having now. But she really asked hey, let's talk about the often forgot cash customer for a second. This is her ploy. If you get on the bus, you can insert your dollars and your coins and the bus can take you there. If you don't have the ability to have a credit card, or let's say you just don't trust the man, you don't trust the banking system, so forth and so on. And this is one of the things she asked. She said, can you can go to the gas station and say, hey, look, I'll put, $10 on pump number 3, and then walk out, and then boom, they do the cash till and all that stuff. Now, Teresa, you raise a good point. The adoption of technology will always flow towards the majority And so I would count yourself in this question as a part of the minority, but there is a solution. And it's one of the things that kind of in the really fine-tuned secrets of EV charging that I've told customers that have the same worry as you. If you go into the gas station, you can actually give the clerk $10 or let's say $20 for a $20 prepaid credit card. It's a prepaid credit card. You at that point can turn around, download the app, put all your information in there, and place that prepaid credit card inside the actual app as a form of payment. And so the way that these apps work is once your balance gets to a certain amount and it gets below a certain amount, well, they're gonna either request more money for you to be able to put on that card, or they're just gonna stop the charging session altogether because you ran out of funds on there. So think of it as kind of like a toll tag, for your EV charging. And so therefore you don't have to establish your credit account. You can actually do it cash, but that cash has to be transferred to a credit card, and then that credit card has to be placed in to the actual app, so that way you can gain access on your smartphone via actual charging session. So yes, we're kind of away from the 1960s, the last 50 years of being able to process payments. I would say over the last 100 to 200 years. I don't know, however long we've been accepting cash or monetary form of payment in exchange for services, but we're kind of moving away from that with regards to coins and dollars. And we're definitely in a digital society to where we're going at it. But there are tricks in the trade. And like I said before, you can absolutely hand that teller $20. They can give you a prepaid credit card. And then you take that prepaid credit card, place it under your account, start your charging session from there. And so in a sense, yes, you can exchange cash for that charging session. But unfortunately, the machines themselves don't. It's not like and I know what you're thinking. Like a buddy of mine does the vending machine stuff, right? So he's got to cater not only to card but also cash and coins, because those are prevalent in people's choices and such a low purchase price premium for those vending machines. And so that is one of the things that he's always battling. Is in some areas of the neighborhood, I guess of the city, he doesn't have to put in credit card machines, or in some use case of businesses, he can put in, coins and dollars. But a majority of the time, he's definitely transitioned most, if not all of his machines over to all three forms: coins, cash, and credit. Unfortunately, the charging sessions, they don't do that. Charging manufacturers, it just adds another point of resistance, point of failure into that process. And everything is definitely being done online these days. So that is it in a nutshell, guys. I definitely don't want to take up too much of your time today, but definitely wanted to share with you the top 5 reasons why businesses are choosing to put in EV charging stations. We love it. We absolutely passionate about this. This is stuff that we live, eat, breathe, and sleep. And so if you like what we had to say, definitely follow us. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up, share us, contact us, shoot us a question. We'll be happy to share your answer. Teresa, thank you so much for your customer feedback. But other than that, that's pretty much going to do it for today's session. We're going to start, we're probably going to start putting out some content maybe later on next week for our next episode. Some really exciting stuff we have so definitely stay tuned. And we definitely wanted to send our best to you, for you guys, for joining us today. Thanks again for parking and pulling over with us. We'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.